Hey there, Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, April 30th. Today we're going to focus on the upcoming lunar eclipse in Scorpio that will be on May 5th, and it's bringing us some potent energies, some potent shifts and changes and shakeups to the status quo. So today I want to share with you 5 ways that the lunar eclipse in Scorpio is bringing change, will bring change to the status quo, and why that is according to the planets. So thanks for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com, and let's jump right in. So coming up this week on May 5th is a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. That means that the moon will be in Scorpio opposite the sun because it's a full moon. And this moon cycle began with the Aries solar eclipse, meaning that the new moon was in Aries, and that sets the tone for the moon cycle that we're in. So this moon cycle began with the energy of Aries, which is the energy of action, of new beginnings, of taking risks, and being proactive and courageous to move things forward. So if you have felt like things are moving fast or like there's a lot of activity and you're having to do a lot, that is that Aries energy showing up. Of course, we also currently have Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and that is slowing things down. So it's slowing down our thinking. We might get bogged down in needing to redo things, rehash, recheck. I shared a week ago about this Mercury retrograde and some ways to work with it to keep yourself sane and productive while Mercury is retrograde. So definitely check that out if you missed it. But so the point is that we're moving forward, and at the same time, there are some things that are bogging us down, making it difficult to move forward. So you may feel some confusion or conflicted energies around that. Okay, so 5 ways that this May 5th lunar eclipse brings change to the status quo. So we're looking at a moon cycle that's active, right? Proactive in the doing of things, the activity and the actions, the action steps, and moving forward on things. And then as we head toward the full moon, we're building on that. We're building on the need to take action, discovering how we take action, the best ways to take action, what's going to happen when we take action, and how to course correct and learn as we go, and improve our approaches and strategies so that we can be more effective in our actions. So now we head into the lunar eclipse. So first of all, a lunar eclipse is a full moon, right? It's revealing something to us. It is illuminating something that we need to see or know or realize. So around the full moon, you can have the experience of awakening, awareness, new insight, learning, discovery. It's something being revealed to you, and that can show up in many, many different ways, but just pay attention to what's going on for you and showing up in your life and your thoughts and what you're thinking about and dealing with around the full moon, because something in that is revealing to you some information that you need, right? Something that's going to help you adjust your thinking, your beliefs, your attitudes, your behaviors and patterns, your routines. So something about that full moon energy is there to help you. And if you have been setting clear and positive intentions, it will help you even more because you're in that space of receptivity to seeing how to move forward in moving toward the positive intentions that you have. Okay, so the full moon is revealing something. Because it is an eclipse, it gives it some extra potency. So because the moon is in the same plane with the sun and the earth, we have, everything lined up, kind of opens, it's like a key opening a lock, opens a gateway or a portal to access new information, energy, resources, new understandings, things that are going to shift your experience. And again, if you're working with positive intentions, it can be really beneficial toward those positive intentions, helping you to see how to manifest them. See how you need to change, see what in your life you might want to look at, and how you might want to shift or change some ways of thinking or some patterns that you have. So the lunar eclipse energy is extra potent. The fact that it is in Scorpio means that we are also dealing with a deeper process of transformation. So Scorpio is about our deeper place of truth, our power, our inner power, right? Not our ability to make people do what we want, but our power to serve ourselves and the world around us, to access the ability to be more creative, more able to be effective in generating the results we want and manifesting the things we want. So okay, so Scorpio is taking us deep, and it's also taking us to a place of transformation. So in order to do the scorpionic work of transformation, we need to be willing to look at things that are sometimes can be a little difficult to look at. So it might be painful. It might bring up things that you have wanted to keep hidden, or things that you haven't been aware of simply because you've had other things, more on the surface that you've had to deal with. So it's bringing what has been in the shadows or in the darkness or in the unconscious or not in your conscious awareness. It's bringing those kinds of things to light so that they can be looked at. And you can benefit from, releasing the past, releasing old themes, old things that weigh you down, old feelings, traumas, anything that is there from your past or hidden, but no longer being hidden, right? To come up for you to look at, sit with, be with, feel. And that is helping you to transform. So what I want to remind you about this Scorpio eclipse is that is to trust what is happening, to trust what is coming up for you, and to let yourself be present with it, because the power is in letting yourself feel it and move through those complicated, mysterious energies that don't necessarily have a rational explanation, but you feel them nonetheless. So it's a sacred time. It's a powerful time. It's a potent time, powerful. So lunar eclipse in Scorpio is asking us to bring some sort of death and rebirth to our lives. So letting go of the past, letting go of things that no longer work for you, letting go of just things that have been, maybe things that have helped you survive, but you don't need anymore. So it could be feelings, it could be thoughts, it could be beliefs, it could be something in your life, someone in your life, right? So there's a need to let go and grieve and move on. Okay, and that's allowing this process of rebirth, which lets you step into something new, which is how we can grow and change and actualize the things that are important to us. And I want to emphasize that this is not just, it's for you personally, it's for all of us. There's something happening for all of us on a personal level somehow, right? It's going to be different for each of us, but it's also for the collective. It's also how we are, participants, active participants in a world that we are co-creating by the fact that we are here. We exist here, we are alive, we have the ability to make a difference. And I want to remind you that making a difference doesn't necessarily look the way you might think it looks. Sometimes making a difference means retreating and taking care of yourself. That may be the best way you can make a difference. It may not be, doing the big thing out in the world that you've always thought you should do. It's going to be all kinds of different things. So you have to trust your inner knowing and follow your intuition and trust your wisdom about what you need, where you are right now, and allow that process to unfold, because you may not know exactly where it is headed or how that healing process is happening for you, and how it affects your ability to participate in the world. You don't necessarily know in the moment, so you have to trust yourself and your process. Okay, so that's number one, ways that the lunar eclipse in Scorpio is bringing shake up and change to the status quo. It's through that lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is asking us to do this deep, personal, transformative work, being with ourselves and what is coming up and trusting it, so that we can allow ourselves to be reborn into new possibilities. Okay, so the second one way that the lunar eclipse brings change to the status quo is that during this lunar eclipse, which is the moon is in Scorpio, the sun is in Taurus, and it is conjunct or right next to the planet Uranus. Uranus is the planet of shakeup, of change, of lightning bolts and electricity and earthquakes and things that come from out of the blue. And so there's a sense of sudden change, unexpected developments, things that can come out of nowhere. And again, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a shock. It can remind us that, there is insight that is available to us. There is new possibility that has not occurred to us yet. And so the energy of the planet Uranus and the sign that it rules, which is Aquarius, is that it brings that sense of things coming that we, that weren't on our radar already. And so that can be a shocking or traumatic development, something that comes from out of the blue, but it's also reminding us that just as much as something painful can come out of the blue, something wonderful can come from out of the blue, right? It's reminding us of that. It is reminding us that not everything is predictable. Not everything is always going to be the way we thought it was when we woke up in the morning. And that includes our limitations. So this Scorpio lunar eclipse is reminding us that there is possibility, there is the ability to step into new ways of being, new experiences, new opportunities, new possibilities that, either we haven't thought of or weren't part of our expectations, or we simply haven't, realized or stepped into yet. So that sun conjunct Uranus during this eclipse is bringing a sense of shakeup. And to align positively with that, we want to make sure that we're setting our positive intentions and reminding ourselves. And when we talk to ourselves, that's how we talk to the universe, right? It's like saying, I am willing to experience an influx of something wonderful that I wasn't expecting, that hasn't occurred to me yet, right? And there can be lots of different ways that might happen. Somebody reaching out to you with an opportunity. It could be a new way of thinking about something that you hadn't thought of before. So all different ways that could show up. Okay, so shake up and change. Remember too that the sun is in Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus. So not only is there shake up energy, but there is specifically shake up to the normal, the routine, the status quo. And that's the energy of Taurus and what Taurus is about. So Taurus is very predictable. Putting Uranus in there says, you need to think about your routines differently. There's going to be something that needs to change, or, you know, some shakeup coming in the area of what you expect, what you see as normal, what is your routine, what is normal in the world too, right? This is also happening in the collective. So what is normal in the world? There could be some shakeup that gets us to see it differently. That just changes the game, right? Changes how we have approached things and how we move forward. Okay, so that can be a lot of different things. Then the third one, in the 5 ways the May 5th lunar eclipse brings change to the status quo. Third one is that we currently have Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto is stationing retrograde just after, well, it's stationing retrograde tomorrow, so it will be retrograde during the lunar eclipse. So, so first of all, we have the energy of Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is an outer planet. It is moving very slowly. I have shared much depth about Pluto in Aquarius and what it means for us. And so I have videos in the 2023 playlist on Pluto and Aquarius if you want to learn more about that. But just as a reminder, as a recap, Pluto in Aquarius means that we have this opportunity to change in terms of how we view new possibilities, the future, our vision for the future. There is a transformation going on. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius on and off for the next couple of years. And then once it goes into Aquarius for good by the end of 2024, it will be in Aquarius for the next 19 years or so. I forget the exact dates, but it's 19-20 years total. So anyway, long term, right, we're going to be transforming how we view change, how we view ourselves as change makers. So there is, you know, meta, right? Like on a deeper level, there's a transformation in how we change. Profound stuff. Okay, and so that's there during this eclipse, reminding us of that we don't know what we think we know, right? That there's more, much more to the story, much more that is unfolding that we don't know yet, in terms of we haven't internalized it yet, we haven't made sense of it yet. We are very much in a process of change and transformation. And so that is further adding to the foundation of change for this Scorpio lunar eclipse. Okay, so that's the third one, Pluto in Aquarius. And then we also have, so number 4 on our list of 5 ways the May 5th lunar eclipse brings change to the status quo. Number 4 is Neptune in late Pisces. So Neptune is, and these are, again, outer planets moving very slowly. So they're big picture energies, but they are in the background of this lunar eclipse. Okay, and so the lunar eclipse is kind of like activating all these potentials that are there. And Neptune in late Pisces is taking us through this final, and Neptune will be in Pisces for another couple of years, and then it goes into Aries. And, you know, like the other planets, it will go into Aries, retrograde back into Pisces, and go into Aries again. But this transition from Neptune into Aries, of Neptune, the transition of Neptune from Pisces into Aries is a process by which we are releasing on deep levels how we have viewed things, our mythologies, our beliefs, our ways, our capacity for imagination, right? So if you think about the stories that we tell about life, they shape how we view life, right? So in the olden times, it was people sitting around the fire telling stories, right? And that was the mythology, the oral tradition of carrying forth the stories from the past to the next generation and hearing these stories. And that mythology shaped the thinking, the beliefs, the ways of framing and understanding reality and daily life and, so many things. So today, we don't do that as much of the storytelling, although it's really great when it does happen, but we do still have mythology, right? We have movies, we have ways that stories get told. There are a lot of things that happen on social media these days, with memes that go around. Anyway, there are different ways that our current mythology and understanding of the world gets reinforced. And the point is that with Neptune in late Pisces, Neptune has a 120-year cycle. So it is reaching the end of this 120-year cycle where it's going to enter that new cycle with Neptune in Aries. And Aries, if you might recall from me talking about it before, Aries is the rebirth point. It is the energy of springtime. It is the energy of new birth, of new growth, of self-discovery. It is the energy of learning who we are and what it means to be alive. And so it comes in this energy, and Neptune is spirit, it's spirituality, it's about the divine. So it's coming through this energy of the divine, entering a phase of self-discovery, of rediscovering how we, and for us collectively, rediscovering how we conceptualize of the divine, of mythology and stories that shape our truth, our existence, our reality. So profound changes happening there. And currently we are in the last degrees of Neptune in Pisces, and for the next couple of years going through this process of kind of completing the old cycle and letting go of the old ways of telling stories and understanding things and framing ourselves and how we see our existence in the context of a bigger picture. So again, this is going to show up in different ways for different people, but it is an energy, an invitation, a kind of a background qualitative theme to our times. And that's what astrology is. It's qualities of time, right? Different times have different qualities, and astrology just describes those. Okay, so we're completing some old themes of how we view ourselves and reality and the bigger picture of who we are and how we fit into, life, universe, the cosmos, these bigger picture questions. So yeah, we could be reaching the end of some ways of conceptualizing our beliefs and defining and framing how we see things and preparing to enter into new sets of beliefs and ways of understanding, new paradigms. I love that. Okay. So Neptune in late Pisces, that was number 4. My last one for that we're going to go through today in the 5 ways that the May 5th lunar eclipse brings change to the status quo is Saturn in Pisces. And so we also have this, we've gone through the 3 outermost planets, and Saturn would be the next one, in terms of looking at the final outermost 4 planets. So Saturn in Pisces is Saturn is how we bring in form. It is how we create structure. It is how we organize, create systems, and organize our thinking. It's how we build things. It's how we create and how we bring things into a form that is tangible. And so we have Saturn in the very intangible sign of Pisces. It's in Pisces with Neptune. They're both in Pisces. Saturn's in early Pisces. Neptune is in late Pisces. but Saturn moves more quickly. It's going to spend about 2.5 years in Pisces, whereas Neptune, has a 120-year cycle. So on average, 10 years or so in a sign. So it varies a little bit because the orbit is elliptical. But anyway, Saturn in Pisces is making us think about our structures and how those structures need to dissolve and reform according to a bigger truth. There is a sense of morality, of ethics that can come through with thinking about the bigger picture and how we embody that bigger picture. Some themes of accountability. And I did have a previous video, it's in my playlist, on Saturn in 2023 going into Pisces and bringing potentially some accountability. So we're seeing some of that going on. And also, again, these themes of how we conceptualize our stories, how things are, there's a reckoning, there's a coming home to roost of some of the more delusional or really off the walls thinking, some things that are maybe not in our best interest, or and also the ways that we can conceptualize or imagine. So I was starting to touch on that a little bit with Neptune in Pisces, is that Neptune and Pisces both have to do with how we imagine, our capacity for imagining and what we can imagine. And so Saturn is putting a boundary on our ability to imagine. It's putting some limitations on that, but it's also giving us a container. And so it can, like a cup holding water, right? It gives it structure, it gives it form, it gives it a way to move forward, a place to exist, a difference to make. And so having a container for some of that water energy, it can be much more useful, more productive, more powerful than just having water that, goes all over the place and has no sense of direction or containment. So Saturn is giving us some, some limitations, but also it's saying, okay, here's how you got to think about this. Here's what's not working. Here's, how you can get creative and reorganize things in a new way that is maybe working better in terms of the bigger picture of what you want to create going forward. Okay. So 5 ways the May 5th lunar eclipse brings change to the status quo. And what does that mean for you? It means that whatever you are thinking in terms of, is there hope for the future? Is it going to be okay? Should I give up? Is, feeling frustrated, feeling challenged, feeling limited, feeling worried, anxious about the future, those kinds of things. Is all taking you out of your capacity to participate in creating things that are truly opening up into vast new possibilities. And so we, in our little, human mortal selves, we have to be here and available and willing and ready to work with the new, to work with the things that we don't understand yet, to work with the new possibilities that are showing up, that are coming in, that are emerging in our collective consciousness. And so it is going to feel new. It is going to, we're not going to get it at first, right? It's going to be a process where we have to realize, oh, I actually have a lot more ability and a lot fewer, the limitations that we think we have are dissolving. And that's another thing about Saturn in Pisces, is the dissolving of limitations and the reforming of this bigger picture of who we can be, right? Our potential, our possibilities that exist out there in the beyond the status quo, right? So getting outside of that status quo to open us up to bigger possibilities, to ways that we can move in directions that have never occurred to us before, in possibilities showing up that are not going to be the way we thought it would, but are going to lead us in the direction of what we want. So that's why it's so important to get your thinking out of the place where you're focusing on the limitations, because those limitations, what the planets are saying right now is they are truly illusions. And there's stuff in our lives that is real that we have to deal with. But where can you start to shift to get yourself beyond your perceived limitations and places where you might think that you can't do something? And instead of focusing on why you can't do it, I'm going to invite you to focus on what it is you want. Because when you can come back to that place of what it is you want, you let go of all the arguments that your own internal dialogue has about why you can't do that, why you can't have it, why it doesn't work for you, why. So coming back to, it's just a simple statement. An intention is a simple statement of what you want, of what's important to you. And when you come back to that place, remind yourself of it, nothing else matters. And then you are aligning with the new possibilities, the ways forward that have not occurred to you yet, the expanded thinking, the expanded beliefs that have not been part of your reality before, but are emerging in consciousness, yours and the collective. And so let yourself be available for change. Let yourself trust this process. Again, with Scorpio, there's going to be some feelings, maybe some letting go, maybe some deep transformation, or looking at old patterns from the past that no longer serve you. So letting yourself be present and feel those things, and simply reminding yourself, here's what I want. Here's the healing that I want to see. Here is the healing I am willing to step into, even though I don't know the way forward or what that might look like. And I'm open to being, to discovering that and having it show up, whether it is through magic or through, simple, tangible answers that have a perfectly good explanation. Either way is fine. Either way is just the universe's way of showing us the way forward. So thank you so much for listening. And thank you for your own openness and willingness to participate in this co-creative process that is here, available to us human beings as we learn and grow and discover who we are and why we're here, right? Why are you here? You don't have to answer that. Just think about what you want, what's important to you, and let everything else go. And that will create the right medium, the right field, the right environment for things to show up and emerge in your life to help you see the way forward. So I hope that's helpful to you. I'd love to hear what you think. I'm Marina Orms. If you are interested in working with me, I do have options on my website, astrologyheals.com, and I can help you see how to apply this process of transformation to your own life. So when I work with people, we look at your chart, your astrology chart, because that's what I am. I'm an astrologer, and we work with your natal chart. We see how it is describing you and your strengths and your weaknesses, and how to work with all of that to step into your potential. And then we from there we look at what's showing up in your life. What are the real limitations you're dealing with? Is it health? Is it money? Is it family? Is it whatever is showing up? We can see how that fits into the bigger picture of your life, and how you can maybe shift your thinking, get some tools for managing some old patterns and shifting those to step into some of these new possibilities showing up, and some creativity, some manifesting new things. So astrologyheals.com, and I have private sessions, I have mini readings, I have a package of 5 sessions. There's a special on that right now to work with me in greater depth, and been having a wonderful time working with some of you doing that. So we're finding the things, we're getting beneath the surface to see what's going on and what to do about it. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Your subscribing to my YouTube channel is a fantastic way to support my work. Your likes, your comments, all of it is wonderful, and I love to hear from you. Thank you again for being here. And I'm Marina Orms, astrologyheals.com. You can check out my books and more. And I will see you next time. I am here every day letting you know what the planets have to say to us in terms of the mood of the day and more. All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stepping into your own self-care, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.